afternoon. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. So my name is Christian. I'm the founder and CEO of the Capptoo group. This gentleman here is Michal, is our CTO and also CEO of Capptoo Life Science, of that business unit. So today, we're actually here, we're coming from very far away, but we're actually here to introducing what we call Product Launch IQ, which is a game-changing platform in the pharmaceutical industry. It's Product Launch IQ is based on, it improves launches, as I said, with intelligence, experience, authentic voices. I know that sounds very trivial to you, but you'll find out later on what I mean by that. But first, I would like to ask you to take out your phones quickly, scan that QR code, and give us some feedback to that very one question, which is, since you're all professionals in the pharmaceutical industry, we want to find out what is that very one thing that needs to change when it comes to product launches to improve the launches for the patient, for the life of the patients. So please take a few seconds to fill in that, to answer that very one question. It's nice to make a whole room work. Okay, so I will continue while you're still answering. I see someone finished, but because we don't have so much time and so much to say, I'm going to continue. So quickly about us, it's only one slide, don't be alarmed. We are a Swiss consultancy firm. We are a digital marketing agency, focus very strong focus in the pharmaceutical industry. Around the globe, we employ around 100 experts. We do projects from product launches, from strategy consulting to product launches for the benefit of the patient. And when you see that number, 70 markets, that means we also have developed, which is the market-leading insights-generating platform. It's called Screver brackets. We are always competing with the likes of Qualtrics and Medallia. So this is the end of my ad, but so you know what Screver is all about. And it's used in 70 markets. So let's quickly look at the drug development journey, as it is with most of the drugs that we know. It always starts with the discovery phase, of course, then it goes in clinical trials and the R&D phase. And at one point, the product comes to market, and we have to make sure it's get FDA approved or TJ approved over here, or Swissmedic, where we come from. And from there, we have to make sure it's somehow reimbursed, that we find a pricing mechanism with the payers, and then it goes into the launch phase. So, and what is evident that we found on our 600 projects, the two characteristics that are absolutely critical in the R&D phase is evidence and experience. No drugs comes to market if you don't meet those criteria. Yet, sometimes with the launches, this kind of evidence, experience lacks a bit. That's our findings. But fact is also, it takes around 10 years to develop any kind of drug. It costs a few $1 million, and it's there. And despite all these investments, for us it's still a miracle sometimes how when the products don't hit the market as they should, or they meet the annual revenue targets. But yeah, we come to that a bit later. But these are the facts. I know that's not new to you, but still going to repeat it. These are studies done by McKinsey and IQVIA. And they do say that 80% of all the product launches fail to meet the first-year targets. Now you would say, okay, of course these targets are far too high, but still, it's still a fact that only 10 to 15% of the launches are considered successful. And out of those ones, only 5 to 8% are considered successful over a longer period of time. And then is the thing called launch cliff. You surely have heard about it, but even a successful drug, it could hit the launch cliff where a physician stops to prescribes a different drug, or where a patient doesn't pick up the drug from the pharmacy, or when the patient drops off. So we have to somehow figure out how we can improve the launch cliff or mitigate this. And the thing is, it's never a clinical performance issue of the drug. The drug always works, of course. It's always the execution that has probably some potential to be improved. And once a product is launched and it was not the most successful launch for multiple reasons, it will ever hardly recover from that. So it's fair to say there's a critical gap between R&D, clinical trials, and market access and launch. Science often then is replaced by gut feeling, evidence by assumptions. Experience that was so important to an R&D phase is then kind of handed over to sometimes unexperienced agencies who are trying to help the pharma marketeers to launch the product. And data that was so crucial before in R&D phase is kind of neglected, or we mean that the voice of the physician, voice of the patients is hardly taken into consideration when launching a drug. So in essence, billions invested in R&D are billions then left to chance later on. And the question then is, if evidence and experience is absolutely critical during the R&D phase, why don't we try to have the same precision later on in the launch phase? Why isn't experience, in our mind, a key metric when it comes to product launches? So, what if we could improve the success of a product launch by only 1%? What would that mean for the patients, for the caregivers, for the payers, for society? And by that, I don't mean the more market share and revenue for the pharmaceutical companies. It's really, what would it mean for the patient? And that's how, what we are thinking. That's how we then develop this platform we're going to introduce in a moment. So our conviction is, from all these 600 approaches we've done, that we need to measure, we need to treat what truly matters as biomarkers. For instance, human sentiment should be a biomarker, how the patient feels, how the clinician feels, the caregivers, and so on. Trust is another one, another crazy factor that we should worry about more. There is a study done recently by Gallup. They surveyed, it is in the US, but they surveyed the people and asked about the faith they have in around 25 industries. And believe it or not, pharma was not on the top 3. So trust is a biomarker that we should treat as such. And then the voice of the customer should be evidence, like it was in the R&D phase. And by that, I don't not only mean voice of the physician or the patient, but also caregivers and any other stakeholders. So with that, I'm happy to hand over to Michal in a moment to introduce our new platform, Product Launch IQ. It is really a result of 600 projects, of thousands or hundreds of thousands of physician feedbacks and patient feedbacks that went into the development of this platform. It's a symbiosis of agentic AI, where we have actual agents that really help the pharma marketeers. For instance, one is for call center, the other one we solve the miracle of adverse events. As you will see in a moment, it's highly context relevant, and we include the voice of the business. I call it voice of the business because it's not, again, not just the physician and the patient, it's also the personnel in the pharma companies, also the caregivers and other stakeholders. And last but not least, we do offer that, it's another area. So we do offer this product launch as a service. A lot of pharma companies, they don't have the personnel or the resources, or at the moment the teams are just not there yet, where we could take the product launch over for pharma company, or only part of a launch or in a certain market. All right, with that I give over to Michal.
Thank you. So, how do we get you from chaos to coffee break in 11 minutes? And how can I show you how to build AI agents, what that is, an AI agent for product launches or any other marketing activities that you're doing? So first of all, we have to ask ourselves why, right? So there's many reasons why agents could help, why AI can help. I picked 3 that work for me, work for us. But you can definitely pick your own ones. So one is to better understand the customer, because better understanding will mean better interacting. Christian said about the voice of the customer, that is important. because this will increase trust. And trust, as we also learned from Christian, is a key element that we in the pharma industry need to improve or need to make sure that the HCPs trust us. Because with that, we will grow business, and then for us personally, us in this room, we will be able to act faster and gain time for either thinking, doing other things, or having a coffee break. So there is an irony in all this AI. I'm sure you heard a lot now in these 2 days about AI. And yes, there is progress, of course, but don't you think that AI machines dream and we then have to do the grind? Don't we all know that it is easy to type into ChatGPT or your co-pilots, please create me a 20-page product launch plan, which then happily the AI creates with a lot of fluff and a lot of hallucination, and then we have to make sure that we check with compliance, that we do medical approvals, that we set up all the tools, and finally update all the materials and the web. So the promise of AI is a little bit broken. Don't we all love our stakeholders, our bosses, creating all those new slides, all those new ideas, all those new text files for us then to process, which at the moment at least it feels for me that with more AI outcome, more AI text, there is more work to do for humans, which is not on the ideation side, but on the execution side. So in the end, we want to change that, right? We want to be the humans, we want to innovate, we want to tell the AI what to do, and we want the AI to then execute. And this is possible. The next revolution will not be the generative AI, the AI text, the AI ideas that we need to validate, but the doing AI, the agentic AI. So with that, let me give you an example.
Good
and play the
afternoon,
video.
Dr. Thompson. This is Emma speaking. How can I help you today?
Hi, Emma. 2 of my patients experienced severe nausea after their second dose. Is that expected?
Moments like this happen every day. One question, one note, one comment that could change everything. But across surveys, websites, emails, events, call centers, and CRMs, these signals are easy to miss. That's why we built Screver Agents, AI made for life sciences. They scan every channel, detect what matters, and notify the right team instantly. The pharmacovigilance agent spots any mention of side effects and sends it straight to the safety team. Fast, compliant, and traceable. The topic detector agent tracks shifts in market sentiment, brand perception, rep communication, and digital channel performance. From dosing confusion to supply issues. No manual review, no delay. Just verified insights, ready for action.
Thanks for letting us know, Doctor. We've already passed it to our safety team. They'll follow up right away. Our AI agent detected the adverse event and already notified pharmacovigilance team.
Perfect. Appreciate how quick that was.
Thousands of signals, one platform, one brain behind it all. That's Screver.
So, that was a great example of what we built so far. I give you a quick nugget of information as well on what needs to be done now in our case that we presented, but also in the cases of your software if you want to bring that back to your companies. So first of all, the AI needs to know the context. So it needs to know your realities, your product information, and so on, so that it doesn't hallucinate as much. Second, you need an interface. You need the AI chat, where you can type in something and there will be something coming out, but not necessarily only text or information, but the AI should also monitor, it should detect, it should inform, it should operate for you. This is the agentic AI that will help you in the background. Further, it needs to be integrated, as you saw in our example with our Voice of the Customer tool, it needs to be integrated with the tools that you use. Otherwise, how can it operate for you, right? So with that, I will now go into a quick demo, a quick example, which we will as well in a second play as a video. So this is the first screen, which you for sure know also from your Copilot tools. that you type in something and something happened. And then now when we play the video, and please leave the lights on because I will speak over it, I will explain you how that could work. Because this is our other reality, right? This is our reality where we have software, in this case, of course, a very beautiful voice of the customer software, but also in all your cases, you have marketing automation, you have CMSs, you have platforms to plan your activities, your content creation tools, and so on. And as we learned, we humans have to operate them. So how would it be if we, for example, want to create a survey for a congress? As we learned, first, we would have to give the AI some context. So here, as an example, I created this video this morning. You see that I uploaded the NPS and CSAT for life science in Australia, so it would know exactly what it has to deal with Net Promoter Score and customer experience in Australia. And the second, I uploaded the HCP engagement in Australia. What do HCPs like as a channel? Do they like emails? Do they like face-to-face, and so on? So the Screver AI, the Screver Product Launch IQ already knows how to reply. And only now we can go back into the chat, because now the chat has the context, and we can start to type in what we want the AI agent to do. In that case, I would say, please create me a survey with the Net Promoter Score, with the CSAT, and with a text question for our event, like this event. And now when we then click the button to do it, now the first small magic happened. The first small minute of additional coffee break time happens, and it creates the survey, or it creates any other activity that you ask it. If we now open it in another browser window, you will see that it created the survey. It actually did work. It actually not told you what to do, but it did something. Of course, just as a small example. If we want to have data, of course, we identify the event didn't happen, so there is no data yet. So what to do? All right, let's do a QR code so that we can either show it to the HCPs at the Congress, print it, put it on flyers, whatever it is. And we write, please create a QR code, but what happened? No QR code, because what did we learn? The AI needs context. So now we selected the survey that we created, and now when we start to again ask the AI to create a QR code, now it should hopefully work. Well, in this time I know it worked because I recorded the video this morning. So you will see in a second that the QR code is generated, which we can then distribute at the event and ask the HCPs to give feedback as we asked you today to do it. Now the next thing is, of course, that you want to look at data. And don't we all look at our dashboards, many dozens of dashboards, and think, so what now? So again, if we give the context to the AI, and then ask a question in the smaller chat window that you see here on calculation of NPS, of CSAT, then something will happen. In this case, as I did it this morning, it will on the right side create some input, some information for us that will help us to then in the dashboard actually identify the data, actually identify sentiment, and actually see what needs to be done in the background further with agents to then help you to have either more time for thinking or coffee breaks. So if we might go to the next slide. But we need you. You need to work for your coffee breaks. So what we need from you, from colleagues around the world, from pharma, we need to understand what are the tasks that are preventing you from coffee breaks? What are the elements that an AI agent can actually help you? What are the elements that are now created which generate work for you? And how can we automate in the background that it goes beyond that and it closes the loop? So that we have in the end the time to think, the time to innovate, and we are not made to work by the AI. And I leave you with a quick elevator pitch, as Christian started as well. So how do we bring value from the Capptoo group? We can do your product launch as a service. We can do it the full product launch, we can do one phase, we can do any marketing activity, either with our 360 agency services, or with what you saw today with the Screver voice of the customer, or with the product launch IQ that we launched today. So visit us at the booth, contact us on LinkedIn, and we will be happy to get you more coffee breaks. Thank you.